Hello everyone and welcome back. So has anyone noticed that, has anyone noticed? Of course, you've all noticed towards the end of episode 8 of Interview with the Vampire season 2 that Daniel Malloy just appears as a vampire, kinda out of the blue. It's only when he finishes his interview and is exiting the building that we notice his eyes and realise that he's become a vampire. That and also the mind communication with Louis, which obviously rang some alarm bells too. It was kind of a shocking moment. Like, I know Daniel becomes a vampire in the books, of course, but I didn't expect it to happen in season 2. I really didn't see that one coming, but at the same time it was a really cool way to end this season. It's kinda like, okay, the interview is done and the final moments will maybe show Louis moving forward with his life, and then Daniel takes off his glasses, his eyes turn burnt red, and we're gifted with another memorable moment. So what I want to talk about today is the in-between. What happened in between Louis leaving his apartment that night and the big revelation, and his chat with Daniel on the phone, or in his mind. Why Daniel was turned into a vampire. Who turned him? What are the surrounding factors that led to him being turned against his will, obviously? Well, let's take a look. Well, it was Armand. We all knew immediately it was Armand who turned Daniel. He turns him in the book, so it was only fitting that they followed the pattern in the show, but the circumstances surrounding it obviously changed, and I have to add, it was all done really well. The truth of the matter is that Daniel didn't really have much respect for Armand right from the beginning, and Armand in return did not welcome Daniel, constantly challenging Louis on certain things he said, more so challenging his mindset at the time rather than his word. Louis was telling the truth from his own perspective and experience. Now, as we know in season 1, Armand pretends to be Rashid, which was weird. I still question what his true motive was behind that, but it pisses Daniel off that he lied to him, and then, with Armand actually joining Louis for the rest of the interview, Daniel knows he's doing it doing it as a means of control, as a means of filtering what Louis is trying to say and adding in his own comments to a certain extent. And this frustrates Daniel because he wants complete truth from Louis. He wants open and honest. On the other hand, Armand is also well aware of his own history with Daniel. Remember, he was going to kill him back in the 70s, and the only reason Daniel doesn't remember any of that is due to Armand wiping it clean. He has no idea why he can't remember. Daniel also can't understand why he keeps getting flashing images of Armand, almost like memories of him enter his mind throughout the interview. He knows that something is off about him. He knows there's deceit in there somewhere, but he can't quite put his finger on it. He knew that Armand was just playing the part of the person Louis needed him to be, in this case, the supportive companion. So there's a somewhat underlying animosity slowly building between the two throughout the interview, but it's hard to catch, as so much of the focus is on Louis and the story he's trying to tell. Armand becomes uneasy when Daniel questions the fire, wondering where he got that information from. How did Daniel know things that he shouldn't know? So, obviously, things come to a head when Daniel receives the script of the trial with all of Armand's notes, and he has it for some time. But Daniel does something very clever, something very cunning. He lures Armand into giving his own fabricated version of the account first, to have him verbally state how he done all he could to save Louis, how it took all of his strength, something we see Louis warmly react to. Daniel allows him to finish before finally piecing together that there could be no way Armand would have saved Louis if he was the one who had directed the entire play and oversaw the scenes where Louis was meant to die. He cleverly brings up the example of Lestat controlling the minds of over 30 soldiers back in New Orleans, to the sheer amount of people in the audience who also had their minds controlled and manipulated into saying the word banishment in order to save Louis. He backs this up by giving Louis the original script that he had, with Armand's own handwriting in the margins for the changes he wanted to make. Armand, for the first time, can't worm his way out of the situation because he had no time to plan, no time to prepare, and no time to manipulate. He was completely exposed there and then without any warning. Daniel's revelation about Armand literally destroyed 77 years of companionship between he and Louis. 77 years is a very long time. It ruined everything entirely. It changed Louis' depiction and perception of Armand. He never looked at him the same. He ended the relationship, and Armand has basically just lost everything, all because of what Daniel revealed. But more importantly, he destroyed Armand's character, and Armand knows that. Armand also knows there is no possible way to ever earn Louis' forgiveness after a 77-year lie. He forgave what happened to Claudia in time. Well, he moved on, and somehow accepted Armand's reasoning behind Claudia's execution. Armand allowed Lestat to take the fall, to take the blame. Lestat could have told Louis the truth, but he didn't, and Armand always knew that. He was always aware of that. So Armand is literally left a broken man as Louis leaves. He is literally trying to contemplate what the hell he's gonna do now, where he's gonna go. He's beyond angry, beyond furious, but Louis left a stern warning that he was not to harm Daniel under any circumstances. Armand wants to rip Daniel to pieces more than anything. I mean, he wants to torture him to an inhumane extent, but he can't. He knows he's hurt Louis enough, so he won't go against his word. But he finds a loophole by turning Daniel into a vampire. He's not harming him, but actually doing the opposite. He's enhancing him. Daniel was turned at what would clearly be considered well past the appropriate physical age for a human to be turned. Yes, it cured Daniel's illness, but now we would face eternity as an aged immortal. However, Daniel embraces it. He enjoys it. He checks in with Louis to see how he is. He even asks about Armand, only referring to him as his maker. Louis even apologizes for not staying with Daniel that night. He didn't think Armand would go to such lengths in order to get somewhat of a revenge while adhering to Louis' instructions. But anyway guys, that is all for today's video. There you have it, that is why Daniel became a vampire. I'll chat to you all very soon.